What's good, guys? It's Bama and we're back with another video, and as you guys can see by the title of the video, today we're going to be talking about the current status of Venti. So if you guys could, show some support on the video, that would greatly be appreciated, and let's get right into it. So with the upcoming release of Venti as well as Ayato, a lot of people are very conflicted on whether they should summon for these units, and for the purpose of this video we are going to be talking about Venti, because I know there's a lot of people that are very curious on if they should get Venti or if they should save for Kazuha later on. So I guess the first point that I would make, that why I think Venti is really worth it and why he is not irrelevant, because I know a lot of people are saying that. I think one thing that's good about Venti, especially towards new players, if you are very new towards the game, makes the game very easy for you, especially on early Abyss, to get those extra gems. I feel as Venti just makes the game, a lot more simple for you, because he does have his little ability where he can glide and get onto certain surfaces. So if you need to collect certain materials and everything like that, it makes it a lot easier for you. Another thing to mention about him, all of his mats are in Mondstadt, so that kind of makes it easier for you, because there are certain units that you pull where maybe they're in Inkanamiya, or maybe it's an Inazuma or Liyue. But once you're new at the game, you obviously start in Mondstadt, and all of his materials are in Mondstadt. To kind of just break down more about him, he is one of the best crowd control characters, even against certain heavy enemies. It slowly does pull certain heavy enemies closer towards him, but he still is a great crowd control unit. And another thing to point out, his elemental burst makes freeze teams extremely viable. A lot of people do use the Morgana comp team, but it does make freeze teams extremely viable, which I plan on getting Ayaka myself. And many teams will get a boost from his grouping, his resistance shred, and his passive for energy refund. I can't express how insane his energy refund is and how useful it is for you, because even against certain enemies where it doesn't give you a lot, his energy refund is still amazing. And that goes for even if they're immune to his crowd control, he still provides his VV shred and the energy refund, which it kind of just goes hand in hand. And there's just so many good things about Venti. His off-field elemental application rate is insane, with swirls on top of 2 infused hits per second. His burst also has a shortened ICD window of 1 second on both infusion and a Nemo application for swirl, which basically means his burst can hold elemental auras against pretty much anyone. And a big reason that I really like Venti is literally just his energy refund. It's insane. And Venti also deals a lot of damage while infusing his burst with elemental damage. So, Venti is still a really hard-hitting unit at times. Maybe in the future we get a possible artifact buff where it is for his elemental burst. Maybe he can group the enemies that are immune to him. I guess we will find out in the future, but it is still a possibility, because he is an Archon. I feel like Genshin's gonna do everything they kind of can to make sure the Archons are meta as long as possible, but that's something for us to find out. As for artifacts, I know a lot of you, such as myself, hate granting the Viridescent Venerer, but it is, in my opinion, the best artifact set that you can give him. Obviously you want to use the 4-piece, and there are other ones such as the Noblesse Oblige or Instructors, but just for the purposes of this video, I'm going to recommend the Viridescent Venerer. And there are builds such as Attack and Crit that are really good, but I wouldn't say it's necessarily better than an EM, which is Elemental Mastery, or you could even say a hybrid build, although I would still say that Elemental Mastery is the priority. You can do Attack and Crit builds as well. While I did say that he is really good with freeze teams, there are other options that could somewhat replace what he does. You can use Sucrose, even Kazuha, and some others, that kind of do fill in that gap. And while I do think Kazuha is a better unit overall, that should not, stop you from getting Venti, especially if it's your preference, because a lot of people are huge fans of Venti, and even though I may say Kazuha is slightly better at certain situations, Venti is also slightly better at certain situations himself. And at the end of the day, I feel like you should always summon the character that you enjoy playing, someone that you have really fun with, and both of these characters are pretty fun. I am a huge Kazuha fan, but I still am a really big Venti fan, and I still feel like he is underappreciated in certain aspects. But that's pretty much going to do it for the video. I feel like I summarized everything that I could. Let me know some things that I might have missed that I didn't put in the video down below, and also if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one.